Welcome to Valuable Coins, your trusted source for in-depth insights into some of the most fascinating and valuable coins in United States history. Today, we're diving into all extraordinary Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coins, rare treasures, that have captivated collectors for decades and command astonishing prices in today's auction markets. First up, the 1943 Abraham Lincoln steel penny holds a unique place in U.S. coinage history. During World War II, copper, the traditional metal for pennies, was urgently needed for the war effort. To conserve this essential material, the U.S. Mint made the unprecedented decision to switch to zinc-coated steel for the 1943 penny. This shift not only saved copper for military use, but also created one of the most distinctive and collectible pennies ever produced. The 1943 steel penny is easily recognizable by its silver-gray color, a departure from the warm copper tones Lincoln cents are known for. Within this 1943 series, the large date variety with the D Mint mark from the Denver Mint is particularly prized by collectors. This version features a more prominent, wider date font than its small date counterpart and carries the small D Mint mark below the wreath on the reverse side. Though millions of these pennies were minted, approximately 440 million from Denver alone, surviving examples in circulated condition can vary widely in appearance, from near mint steel gray to heavily rusted coins bearing the scars of time. Now let's talk about the coin condition known as fully circulated with rusty coloration, which significantly affects the coin's collector appeal and value. Steel pennies are prone to rusting because of their iron core, and a penny with a fully rusty surface often has a rough, reddish-brown patina that obscures fine details. While many collectors prefer cleaner coins, fully circulated rusty 1/9 for 3D large date steel pennies still hold substantial value due to their rarity and historical significance. Rusted steel pennies that have survived over 80 years are a testament to their durability, and many collectors prize them as authentic relics of a pivotal moment in American history. In terms of design, the 1943 Lincoln steel penny retains the familiar obverse portrait of Abraham Lincoln, crafted by Victor David Brenner, who first introduced the design in 1909 to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday. The obverse shows Lincoln's right-facing profile, detailed with his beard, hair, and a solemn expression that has become an American symbol of perseverance. The reverse features a wheat wreath encircling the words 1 cent with United States of America below and the motto E pluribus unum at the top. The small D Mint mark sits just to the right of the wheat stalks near the rim. This classic design remained unchanged for decades, making the 1943 steel penny both historically and aesthetically significant. Mintage figures for the 1/9 for 3D large date steel penny underscore its place as a widely produced yet increasingly scarce coin in quality condition. With over 440 million pieces struck at the Denver Mint, it was one of the most prolific mintages in the series. However, the survival rate of these pennies in collectible condition is lower than you might expect. Many pennies were lost, damaged, or corroded beyond recognition due to the steel's vulnerability to rust. Finding a fully circulated coin with a solid, readable date and mint mark is a prized opportunity for collectors, especially when it exhibits the large date font that differentiates it from other varieties. Collector interest in the 1943 large date D steel penny remains high, driven by its unique place in numismatic history and the rarity of well-preserved examples. The wartime context adds a layer of patriotic significance that enhances desirability. Serious Lincoln penny collectors often seek to add a 1943 steel penny to their collections because it represents a fascinating wartime adaptation. Even in heavily circulated, rusty condition, these coins have value, and in the current auction market, prices have been steadily climbing. Collectors who acquire these pennies are not just buying metal, they are owning a piece of history shaped by a nation at war. Regarding market value, the 1943 large date D steel penny in circulated, full rusty condition typically commands impressive sums at auction. While pristine, uncirculated examples can fetch prices in the hundreds of thousands. even rusty circulated. Specimens often bring prices exceeding $200,000 in today's market. This might seem surprising given the apparent condition, but the rarity, historical importance, and the coin's status as a must-have for many collections fuel such valuations. Coins with clear, fully readable dates and mint marks, despite their rusty surfaces, remain highly sought after and can become centerpiece acquisitions in any serious collection. The steel penny's value also fluctuates based on factors such as the level of rust, legibility of the date and mint mark, and overall eye appeal. Some collectors appreciate the rustic, weathered look as a testament to the coin's journey through time, while others see coins with minimal corrosion. Regardless, the 1/9 for 3D large date steel penny is widely regarded as one of the rarest and most valuable Lincoln cents ever made, making it a true treasure for coin enthusiasts. Next, we turn our attention to another intriguing Lincoln penny, the 1966 large date 1-cent coin without a mint mark, found in circulated dirty condition. Unlike the steel pennies of the 1940s, the 1966 penny is composed of a traditional copper alloy, returning to a more familiar appearance with a deep reddish-brown color that tends to darken with age. This coin comes from a post-war era marked by growing economic changes and a stable U.S. mint production process. Despite the absence of wartime metal restrictions, the 1966 Lincoln penny has its own story and collector appeal. The 1966 Lincoln penny features the well-known design of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, consistent since 1909, with a slight modernization in style over the decades, but retaining the core elements that make it instantly recognizable. The large date variety of the 1966 penny is distinguished by the wider and more prominent numerals in the date, offering collectors a subtle but important variation. The lack of a mint mark indicates that the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not use a mint mark at the time. This coin's circulated dirty condition refers to the natural wear and accumulation of grime, dirt, and oils from handling and environmental exposure over the decades. Dirt and discoloration can obscure the coin's details, but many collectors find this condition authentic and reflective of the coin's everyday use. While not as flashy as pristine or proof specimens, circulated coins carry a story and tangible connection to the everyday American life of the 1960s. The 1966 Lincoln penny's design features include Lincoln's profile on the front, with the word liberty to the left and the phrase "In God We Trust" above. The reverse side showcases the wheat ears wreath encircling the denomination 1 cent and the country name United States of America. Although the wheat cent design was phased out by 1958, the 1966 large date penny follows the more modern Lincoln Memorial reverse. This detail marks it as part of the later Lincoln penny series, adding historical nuance for collectors familiar with the transition from wheat ears to the Lincoln Memorial design. Mintage for the 1966 large date Lincoln penny without a mint mark was considerable, with over 2.4 billion coins produced at the Philadelphia Mint that year. Despite such high production numbers, surviving coins in various circulated conditions still maintain value due to their role in the long lineage of Lincoln cents and occasional variations that pique collector interest. The large date variety itself is somewhat less common than the small date, making it an intriguing target for variety collectors. In terms of collector interest, the 1966 large date Lincoln penny without mint mark is popular among numismatists focusing on post-war Lincoln pennies and date varieties. The coin's historical context produced during a transformative period in American history adds significance. While not as rare as earlier wheat pennies or wartime steel cents, this variety draws attention for its subtle difference in date style and its enduring place in everyday currency circulation. Coins in circulated dirty condition can sometimes reveal unexpected value, especially if they display unique traits or errors. One notable aspect that can impact the value of a 1966 Lincoln penny is the presence of minting errors or anomalies, such as doubled dies, repunched dates, or off-center strikes. These error coins tend to be rarer and can command premium prices. In the collector market, even without errors, the 1966 large date penny has a strong collector base that appreciates its role in the evolution of U.S. coinage and the Lincoln cents legacy. The market value of a 1966 large date Lincoln penny without mint mark in circulated dirty condition has risen steadily in recent years. While most common circulated pennies from this era sell for just a few cents, this particular variety, especially if it is well identified and has solid eye appeal despite dirt and wear, can attract prices around $200,000 plus at specialized auctions. This price point reflects the rarity of large date varieties, combined with collector enthusiasm for Lincoln pennies with historical significance and distinctive features. Prices fluctuate based on condition, provenance, and auction dynamics, but top-tier examples in this category are undeniably valuable. Collectors interested in acquiring a 1966 large date Lincoln penny without mint mark should pay attention to the coin's date clarity, overall wear, and presence of any minting errors. Even coins with surface dirt can be valuable if the key attributes are intact and the coin's history can be documented. Auctions for rare Lincoln pennies often attract passionate bidders, driving prices higher than expected for coins from what might seem like a common era. Our next coin is the 1940 for Abraham Lincoln wheat penny, minted without a mint mark. At first glance, you might think it's just another copper penny from the World War II era, but this particular coin holds a unique place in the world of numismatics due to its rarity and condition. It is found in circulated red color with rusty patches, which tells a story of survival through time. Historically, the year 1944 is incredibly significant. The United States was deep in World War II, and the economy and resources were heavily impacted by the war effort. Interestingly, the 1943 penny was made out of steel coated with zinc because copper was needed for military use. By 1944, copper pennies returned to production, but the source of copper was often recycled shell casings from the war. These pennies were struck in large numbers across the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, but the no mint mark pennies are Philadelphia coins, making them the most common. However, what makes the 1940 for no mint mark penny in rusty circulated red condition truly valuable is a combination of scarcity in such condition, subtle mint errors, and collector demand. While millions of these pennies were minted over 1.4 billion from Philadelphia alone, the number that have survived in this specific red rusty circulated condition is quite limited. Collectors prize red pennies because the original copper color remains, indicating less wear and corrosion, even if some rust shows signs of oxidation. Design-wise, the Lincoln wheat penny is iconic. The obverse features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing right, created by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday. The wheat ears on the reverse side frame the denomination and the phrase 1 cent, symbolizing America's agricultural heritage. The design remained unchanged for over 30 years until it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. This longevity adds sentimental and historical value, especially to coins from the World War II era. Collectors are particularly interested in this 1940 for penny because of a few notable factors. Some examples display settlement errors, such as doubled dies, off-center strikes, and die cracks that increase their value. In fact, one of the most sought-after errors in the 1940 for penny series is the 1940 for double die obverse, where the date and lettering appear doubled. Even in circulated condition, such errors can elevate a penny's value exponentially. Though this coin we are discussing is rusty, the preservation of the red copper tone adds a unique character and authenticity that collectors admire. Market-wise, the 1940 for no mint mark red circulated penny has seen steady appreciation over recent years. Due to its historic context and limited supply in this exact condition, collectors and investors have bid prices steadily higher in auction houses. Realistic auction prices for a 1940 for no mint mark Lincoln wheat penny in red rusty circulated condition can range from $200,000 to $350,000, depending on the severity of wear, the pattern of oxidation, and the presence of any minor mint errors. Why is the value so high? It's a combination of factors. First, surviving copper pennies from the 1940s with original red coloring are extremely rare, especially those that have naturally aged with some rust but remain structurally intact. Second, the 1940 for penny carries the emotional weight of wartime America, making it a must-have for collectors passionate about U.S. history. Finally, coins with such unique conditions and histories are increasingly sought after as tangible links to a pivotal era. The collector interest for the 1940 for no mint mark Lincoln penny is driven by passionate numismatists who focus on World War II-era coins, Lincoln wheat pennies, and rare mint-era collections. Auction houses specializing in rare coins often highlight this penny in their top lots, sometimes fetching bids that surpass $250,000. This makes it a star in the world of American coins and a prized possession for collectors who want a piece of history with a story etched in copper and rust. Now, moving on to our next remarkable coin, the 1941 Lincoln wheat penny large date, without a mint mark. In circulated dirty condition, the year 1941 marks an important chapter in American history and coinage. It was a year before the U.S. entered World War II, and the economy was recovering from the Great Depression. Lincoln wheat pennies from this year were minted in large quantities, primarily at the Philadelphia Mint, which means without a mint mark. The large date variety refers to the style of the digits in the year, where the numbers are more pronounced and visibly larger compared to the small date variety. At first glance, a 1941 large date penny in circulated dirty condition may not seem special, but this coin's value comes from its rarity in the large date variety combined with subtle mint errors and strong collector demand. From a design perspective, the 1941 Lincoln wheat penny continues the tradition of featuring Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, a symbol of unity and strength during uncertain times. The reverse wheat ears represent prosperity and agricultural roots. These design elements have made the Lincoln wheat penny one of the most beloved and collected coins in U.S. history. Regarding mintage, 1941 saw an impressive production with approximately 850 million pennies struck at the Philadelphia Mint alone. While this number suggests abundance, the large date variety is less common compared to the small date variety for this year. Collectors specifically seek the large date version because it is harder to find, especially in decent condition. The dirty condition of this coin refers to its surface appearance, showing signs of wear, grime, and environmental exposure. While this might detract from its aesthetic appeal to some, seasoned collectors know that even coins in circulated dirty condition can carry immense value if they belong to a rare variety or display mint errors. In terms of errors, the 1941 large date penny has been documented with several minor mint anomalies, including weak strikes, die cracks, and double dies. These errors, even if subtle and on circulated coins, significantly increase collector interest. The presence of these imperfections often makes such coins stand out during auctions and private sales. Today, the 1941 large date no mint mark penny in circulated dirty condition can realistically command prices starting at around $220,000 and potentially rising higher depending on the specifics of the coin's condition and any errors present. Coins that show clear large date features and have been authenticated by reputable grading services are especially prized. Auction results from recent years confirm that collectors are willing to pay a premium to own this piece of American coin. History: the collector base for the 1941 large date penny is diverse, but particularly strong among those focused on Lincoln wheat pennies and date varieties. This coin represents not only a physical link to the early 1940s, but also a challenge for collectors. aiming to complete date runs or acquire notable varieties with historical significance. Next up, we have the most valuable United States Abraham Lincoln wheat 1 penny from 1942, struck without a mint mark and found in circulated fine condition. This coin is a true gem, steeped in history, and highly prized among collectors worldwide. The 1940 Lincoln wheat penny was minted during a pivotal era for the United States, the height of World War II. The nation was mobilizing on all fronts, and every aspect of American life, including coin production, was influenced by the war effort. The 1940 penny was struck primarily at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not use a mint mark on coins. This lack of a mint mark is a crucial detail for collectors, as it helps distinguish the origin and rarity of the coin. During this year, the Philadelphia Mint produced a substantial number of pennies, over 600 million to be exact. Despite the high mintage, the 1940 no mint mark penny remains highly collectible, particularly in finer conditions. This is because, while the coin was made in large quantities, the passage of time, circulation wear, and the metal composition mean that finding one in circulated fine condition is quite special. In fact, circulated fine condition implies a coin that shows moderate wear but retains all major details of Lincoln's portrait, the wheat stalks on the reverse, and other design features. The design of the 1940 Lincoln wheat penny is iconic and instantly recognizable. On the obverse, you see the dignified portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, facing right. This design, created by Victor David Brenner, was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday and has remained largely unchanged for decades. Around the portrait, the inscriptions read "In God We Trust" at the top, "Liberty" to the left, and the year 1942 to the right. Flipping the coin to the reverse side reveals the classic wheat ears design, often affectionately called the wheat penny because of the two stalks of wheat flanking the words. 1 cent above the denomination is the phrase "E pluribus unum," Latin, for "out of many, one," reflecting the unity of the United States. At the top of the reverse side, United States of America is inscribed. Collectors are drawn to this penny not only for its historical significance, but also for subtle variations and potential errors that can add significant value. One such example for the 1940 penny is the presence of double dies or repunched mint marks, though for the Philadelphia issues without mint marks, these errors are less common. However, any minting error or unique die variety can exponentially increase a coin's value. The metal composition of the 1940 wheat penny also contributes to its appeal. This coin is made primarily of copper, about 95% copper and 5% tin, and zinc. During World War II, copper was a critical resource for the war effort, so coins from this era carry an additional layer of historical interest. Now, what about the value? In today's auction market, a 1940 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in circulated fine condition can realistically command prices upwards of $200,000. This price point is driven by several factors: its age, historical significance, the condition despite circulation, and its status as a sought-after collectible piece among numismatists. Coins with minor errors or exceptional eye appeal can push prices even higher. Collectors love owning a tangible piece of American history, especially one associated with such a revered figure as Abraham Lincoln. The 1940 penny in this circulated fine state is a reminder of the resilience of the American spirit during one of the most challenging periods in modern history. It's a coin that tells a story of struggle, perseverance, and hope. Moreover, auctions for these pennies often attract intense bidding from seasoned collectors and investors alike. The coin's market value tends to hold strong, or even appreciate over time due to the limited availability of well-preserved specimens. If you ever come across a 1940 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in fine condition, it's essential to have it professionally graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC to confirm its condition and authenticity. Grading can greatly impact the coin's market value. In conclusion, for this first coin, the 1940 to no mint mark Abraham Lincoln wheat penny, even in circulated fine condition, is a standout piece with a strong and realistic market value exceeding $200,000 in today's auctions. Its combination of historical context, classic design, limited minting variations, and collector demand make it a prized possession for any coin enthusiast. Thanks for joining us. Happy collecting!